Alrighty, good morning. Sorry, I was taking care of some crap. Let's see. Well, I guess most people are already aware about FXCM. Um, let's take a look first. We got a chart to review. We'll start off there, I guess. Let's hold off on it. Well, fuck it, let's do it. Alright, so this was a USD CHF trade. I still have my drawing tools. Nah, I got rid of them. Let me see if I can bring them up real quick. And Microsoft. Where the hell are they? Guess I shouldn't have got rid of them. Give me a sec. Still waiting for people to get in anyway. Maybe it's under W. Weather, Windows accessories. Screw it. Alright, so let's just do it this way then. Sorry, not prepared. I'm an idiot, I know. I will be showing the EA today. I finished it up yesterday. So far, I haven't seen any issues with it. I've been using it a bit. Sorry, getting the coffee in. All in all, this actually wasn't too bad of a trade. So, here, so I can draw on it. La la la. Hammer it. Okay. I'm just waiting for the screen to pop up. Alright. Good lord, it's slow. Alright, so the entry candle was this red one right there. And let's move that away a little bit. Now you can see it. So that's the one we're talking about right here, this candle. Now, the trade itself, if we look down below, it was whatever, the funky color down here, so it did say down. The Bollinger Band, the squeeze, said down. And this one, your little wavy line that goes in the Bollinger Bands, that's the only one that had a little bit of conflicting, but I'm guessing this was 3 trades after, so it was down also. So, purely setup-wise, just technical-wise at the bottom, everything did line up. Now, if we look up at the top, if we look to the left, and let's do a blue one. If we look to the left, doesn't look too bad. Yes, there was a run up there, so no real big support for it to break through. But we do have that. So that gives us two support lines, basically. Because we have the previous swing low, and then we have the recent day, I guess it was recent daily high. Ow. Sorry, I got a bug bite. Oh, good lord. I'm trying to get comfy so I can do this. Okay. Let me finish FXCM. Okay, so the only thing I could say here, this actually was not too bad of a trade. It'll take a little bit of practice to start to identify things. What I would say is you kind of have to think of it as kind of like a binary options trade or building blocks for a reversal. We did have 2 blocks there. We had a swing low and we had the recent daily high, which would act as a wall to bounce the trade back up. This was the first signs of it coming south. We just came off of a heavy uptrend and then downwards. There's lots of things here that would have probably set me off on it. I don't know if I would have taken this one or not. There's a possibility. I would have had to see how the market was moving, to be honest. Everything else was followed. I'm not going to sit here and say this was a bad trade. Let's zoom in. The only thing I could say is by using the EA that I'm going to show you today, it probably would have skipped this trade. Because if we look really close, I am not sure if it closed below that line or not. But I'm not going to nitpick. If following the rules, good trade. It did happen to get stopped out in one candle, though. Like I said, though, I'm not going to nitpick on that. That is actually a good trade. You're going to take your losses with your wins. Just be aware of this type of setup in the future, and we're looking at a double support, and we're coming off a big trend up. This might have just been a big pullback. Remember from... Let's see if I can draw a line. Holy shit. A, B, C. I'm not going to get too crazy in it, but let's say this was the move, and this is... it's a little bit too low. I'd say that's about the 50% mark on it. That's where it would fail to be a pullback and breaking lower. But again, I'm not going to get all crazy on this. It's actually a pretty good trade. I would not stress over that one. I've done the same thing. Y'all have seen me do it. So 100% good trade, in my opinion. Other than the fact you just need to be aware that when we have supports lining up like that, watch for that type of trade. And God knows, the next time you do it, it'll probably work out. So, okay, so the next thing we got up on the board, and then we'll get into the EA. FXCM banned by CFTC after taking positions against clients. They had to pay $7 million in a fine, and they ripped off, I believe it was $77 million. So a 10% fine, but they are losing the U.S. market February, I believe, 21st. Now, I'd sent out an email saying I would withdraw my funds. A few reasons. Okay, so let's skip to the next part, then we'll get into it so I can explain. Forex.com or Gain, what are they called? Gain, fuck if I know. Gain Capital is going to get all the U.S. customers. Now you're like, hey, that's not a bad deal because you, like Brian, you were already planning on going to Forex.com. Well, the problem here is, and I was going to call FXCM this morning and I'm still going to do it, but I'm guessing they are going to make zero comment on this. It's going to be at their pace of them getting the money moved over, and God knows, because they have to put it in place for everything to be moved securely, and that's going to take time. It really is a toss-up on what you want to do. I say the safest bet is to pull your money out. We know the money is going to eventually be moved to Forex.com, but it's going to take a while. In my opinion, the safest bet is to pull the money. Do a withdrawal. I already did mine last night for the remainder of the funds I had in the account. Again, the reason being is because they have to make plans how to safely transfer all this account information over to Gain Capital, and then, like, for instance, then Forex.com, which is the company that is going to receive them, is going to have to set up logins, account numbers, everything. If you think that's going to be done by February 21st, you're living in freaking la la land. That's exactly 2 weeks away. I would say withdraw. Now, you might withdraw and it takes more than 2 weeks. I don't know yet. I'm going to call today and see if I can find out. But at least you're going to have your money in your account. On that note, I mean, God, I never saw this coming. Okay, so to put this in perspective, FXCM was or is the largest Forex broker in the United States. They hold 34% of the U.S. retail accounts, which is everyday traders like you and me. Them getting the CFTC kicking them was pretty much unheard of or unthought of. I did not see it on this came out of nowhere. Last night when a friend of mine who has Forex or FXCM, I got like 10 of them. I got 10 messages about FXCM. It was just crazy. But I would definitely pull your money. I'm going to be looking at brokers today a little bit more serious because I have to find somewhere to put 48K. Forex, and so let's talk about brokers. Forex.com for the news trading is going to be fine, I think. But again, Forex.com, it has a reputation. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just, I mean, you can't find a Forex broker out there that has a 100% good rep. The problem is with them gone, it's slowly whittling away at what the U.S. has to offer. European guys, you have it so much better. We're literally down to 2 or 3 brokers now in the United States for Forex. It's starting to feel like a binary options market with Forex. It's ridiculous. On the bad side, I mean, they could up the spreads a little bit, and due to lack of competition, it's slowly becoming a monopoly, and that's not good for our spreads because they can jack up the spreads a little bit, and they're going to say, well, who are you going to go to? So it is definitely kind of bullshit. I don't know any other way to put it other than it is bullshit. I was pretty stressed last night. I had quite a few drinks. I'm feeling fine today, but oh my god, I was not happy. I did do some color modifications to mine because, like I said, I don't like the chart so busy. Sorry, that was a random question. Other than that, I don't know what to say about FXCM. I definitely say Owanda. The problem with Owanda, sorry, I missed that question in live chat. The problem with Owanda is their spreads are shit, and they charge commission plus spread. So if you're a small retail trader, and let's say you're scalping and your goal is 10 to 15 pips, by the time you get your 10 to 15 pips, their commission plus their spread, you basically made nothing. As a retail trader, until you have a decent sized account, you're really looking for a broker that just offers spread only on like their micro or smaller accounts. Then once you move up to like their pro level or their second, typically brokers have 3 different levels. There's like the introductory level, and then there's I have a little bit of money, but not a shit ton, which is like 10 grand or more. And then there's I'm fucking rich. And then the brokers will drop the spread to a reasonable rate. You can actually get below 1 pip here. Owanda, I was using them last year, and their spreads are just ridiculous. Especially if you trade the Asia session, literally you'll be seeing a 6 to 8 pip spread on like USD JPY when it first kicks in. And even well into the Asian market, the Owanda spread is just ridiculously high. Until, if you look up here, we have Sydney, Tokyo, and Hong Kong. About the time all 3 finally kick in, we'll see the spread, but it typically is over 2 pips. So I am not impressed with Owanda at all, and that's sad to say because they are one of the more reputable ones, but I mean, so is FXCM, and look what happened. They were supposed to be, well, they were the biggest in the United States. I knew they had a little bit of a bad rep from back in the past, but as they grew bigger, you expect them to be more responsible, and it was actually the opposite happening. So, I'm looking at Forex.com, and then I'm going to look at some of the other big brokers today. And tomorrow we'll do a follow-up on it. For now, I do have some of my money in Forex.com. But again, they have about the same rep as FXCM. Complaint-wise, they have a history of complaints, and they've disappeared recently. So on Forex Peace Army, they get a decent rating, but so does something like, what's it called? FX Choice, which they say is safe for U.S. traders, but it's actually in Belize or somewhere. So take that with just a grain of salt. I am definitely disappointed, kind of sad about the whole freaking FXCM thing. That really threw me for a loop, and I will update when I get my withdrawal. Anyone else who did a withdrawal, I got like 10 emails last night of people who went ahead and processed their withdrawal immediately. Any of y'all who get a withdrawal, let me know as soon as you get your money out. I would like to see, so that way I know if I'm getting put on hold, because definitely want to see. Let's talk about the chart and the EA then. Well, I really have to pee, so how about a 5-minute break, and then we'll get into the EA that I'll be showing y'all today. It is the last part of the TAPFX system. Well, here's my opinion, and I'm hoping this happens. And I know Trump's not anyone, well, he might be some people's favorites. Trump is going after Dodd-Frank in a big way. He already signed an executive order, and he is really pressuring Congress to go after it for U.S. traders. All I want to see is I would like him to open it up enough so that I could go use, say, Pepperstone. If he opens it enough like that, I would be wonderfully happy, overjoyed, because Pepperstone is one of the few brokers I have not heard a shit ton of complaints about. They're an Australian-based broker, and it would be awesome to open up, because there are some European brokers who have 100% good rep, but in the U.S., it's far and few and in between. I mean, it is quite ugly for us. I'm going to draw something on the chart here, take a 5-minute break. I will make it white so you can hopefully see it. We'll make it a little bit bigger. And we're going to do, what is this? C by dash 0 point. Just because I won't be here for it. Alright, there we go. Alright, so 5-minute break. If you have questions about anything else or comments, let me know. Again, guys, if you have FXCM, I do highly recommend just withdrawing your money. The transition from them to gain capital, I have the feeling, is going to take a while, because the CFT is super strict, and it's all going to have to be secure. And if it's not secure, they're not going to let them do it. So I have the feeling it's going to take a while if you just let your money sit in FXCM and then wait for them to get it moved over. I honestly just don't have a good feeling about it. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. Alright, so there's a white line there. Keep an eye on it. If price closes above it, you'll see something happen. When I get back, we'll go over the EA. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so this EA will also be the last step in TAPFX, the system. We will move to the PDF. And the PDF is going to be a little bit lengthier. I am taking... I put it out in the video I put out yesterday, but I'm going through all the comments and everything I had for all 3 systems, and I'm not changing the way they work. I'm adding in the comments and questions and everything. For instance, on this one, entry was a question, take profit, stop loss, pip size, things like that. There was a bunch of questions on those, so I'll be adding it into the course. So I'm not changing the way anything works. I'm just expanding upon it with questions that came in. So those questions are in the PDF and in the system for you. Because if y'all had those questions, then someone else had them, so I need to add them in there. For the binary option system, I'll be adding in entry. That was a big one a lot of people had questions about, was entry. And on across the board, setting up, but I actually... And for setting up, I'm going to be looking at doing it a different way. Let me get signed in real quick, and I'll show you what I'm going to be doing. So, installing your system will be a lot easier. I'm going to be using Slingshot over off the FXM, or the FX Blue site. It's a way of, just real quick, so you know, and this is what's coming up, it's a way of distributing a chart, basically what's on my chart to you all, so that you don't have to do file, open, data folder, all that bullshit. There still will be the files out there available to you, but this will just basically install everything for you. It installs the EA, it installs the templates, installs the set files, it installs the indicators, it installs the templates. It does everything for you, just like when you installed the FX Blue signal receiver for the signal guys. This will install everything for you. Now, if it fails, then you can go back to the manual way. But I'm going to be adding both options into the system, because I've had a lot of people have issues with MT4 and Windows. Basically, MT4 is an old program, and sometimes Windows doesn't like it. So when you go to add an indicator on, it says no. And it will be random. Like, even one of the guys in another group that I know, he bought an indicator off the marketplace, and it would not let him put it on the chart. And he signed into his account through MT4 to the MT4 website, bought an indicator, and it didn't work. Let's see. What was I going to say? On signals on Forex, yes. The signals, it doesn't matter what broker you're with, your FX Blue username will always stay the same. You just need to install, you need to go through the complete install process with the exe file off of the XF Blue website. All you have to do is go sign into FX Blue. you'll go to Trade Mirror, Receiver, download the receiver, EA for MT4, and install it, put in your username and password, and you're ready to go. It doesn't matter which broker you're with, it all matters on the EA that's running on that broker, and it'll work just fine. So you do not need to change your FX Blue username for the Signals group. All you have to do is reinstall the EA on the new broker you decide to go with. Again, once I'm done today, I got a busy day. I'm going to try and get the scalp system up and not up and running, the book up and running. I really gotta pee, so let me go do that, and we'll come back and we'll take a look at the EA and how it works. Here, let's see if we can put in one other. Oh shit, let me check to see if I have signals running, because I don't want them running. Okay, signals are not running right now. I am gonna turn them on once I get back, though. So let's put it, it's down here, but I'm gonna put it a little bit higher to see if we can get it to trigger. And this would be a close sell. Okay, so I have a buy and a sell set up on the chart. We'll see what happens there by the time I get back. Most likely, unless price moves nothing. But I have a buy and a sell there, and I'm going to show you how to use this EA. I mean, the way I'm teaching y'all this, you should be able to see setups ahead of time and just throw this on there. And since it can take into account spread, GG, Jesus Christ, I already forgot your name. Dude, I am so sorry. That trade you took that failed, it wouldn't have popped if you would have been using this, depending on where you drew the line. But even if you drew the line exactly on top of the blue line that you were looking at to get in and out, it wouldn't have popped due to the spread. But again, that trade was perfectly fine. Don't stress on it much. Okay, give me 5 minutes, guys. I'm going to go hit up the little boys' room, and we'll take a look at the EA. If price hits something, you'll see it. If not, when I get back, I'm going to pull it in and straddle the shit out of price to force it to pop. And I'll explain everything that went into it and why it was not included at first and what the issues were with it, blah, 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 that kind of shit. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I burped right as I freaking mic'd up. Alright, so we're going to go over the EA now. The EA is called Trigger Lines. Credit for that goes to X Joham. Basically, the name behind it is if price hits the line, it triggers a trade. You do have to enter a little bit of information for these to be it. Basically, they're pending orders, but the issue with a pending order is when price hits a pending order, it opens. And I don't want that because that would be a touch trade. I want price to close through the level, and then I take the trade. Now, there's some good sides and bad sides to this. So what if price runs through at 30 pips and then closes? Well, you're going to be watching the chart, so my idea would be you delete the damn line and don't take the trade. If you were watching it, you'd have your finger on the trigger anyway to hit buy or sell. This just basically simplifies things a little bit. Now, we'll go into settings real quick, and again, you are going to get this. This does completely replace auto stop. It has the exact same functionality of auto stop, take profit, and stop loss. So if you manually take a trade, it will place the take profit and stop loss for you. Before I even do anything, let's go ahead and show that. Well, that won't work. So let's say it's running over here too. Let's say you want to do, here, let me get rid of that. That was from earlier. Let's zoom in. Alright, so I want to take a, hell if I know, what do we have? We're green, red, and USD stronger, so that means down. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to take a sell, so Alt S, there's the sell in. Now, if you notice, and this is going to be something for the signals group, the red lines are a little bit outside my green lines, which is my 10 pip target. Why? Is it took spread into account and it pushed our take profit and stop loss a little bit out, so that if you hit it, you get the full 10 pips. And also, as we had seen when I was taking a trade, y'all got closed out, but my trade continued to run. That fixes that issue. There's quite a few things I added into this. So you will see that it's slightly outside your green lines, your inlines indicator that tells you the 10 pips up and down, or whatever you have it set at. So it does put them slightly outside of it because it is taking the spread into account when it plots your stop loss and take profit. So it works exactly like auto stop in that. Now, the second thing we could see is it has a bunch of descriptions in here. The ones we're going to focus on, and this was coded with me in mind, but it will work perfectly well for y'all. Buy touch, sell touch. See the values that are here? T buy, T sell. What that means, and those aren't the ones you're going to focus on, but some people will use this functionality of it. So what that means is if I drew a horizontal line right here and price comes down to it, I will fix this in a second. Let's make it a big fat red line. And we're not going to draw it as a ray. So what that means, if we set it up as a touch trade, that means as soon as price hits it, and let's say we had it as a buy, the next thing that would happen is it would open up a buy on touch, and a buy would be open with a take profit and stop loss put in. Now, the only reason I'm showing you that is because some people actually would use it. So how would I set that up? If we go into the line properties on description, it's touch, buy, then you put in a dash, and you put in your amount of lots, 0.01. So touch, buy, a dash, and the trade size, and then you hit OK. That is now a pending order on touch. Now, you could just use a pending order there. So I put the functionality in there, but you could just use a pending order there, to be quite honest. But if you used a pending order, actually, either way, it's going to be however you prefer. So you don't have to use it, but just so you understand what's in there. Now the second set, which we will be using, and it's designed for the system, C buy and C sell. The C stands for close buy and a close sell. What does that mean? It means when we draw our line, this is not a trade I would take, but we draw our line, double click, and we could put C buy dash 0.01. So that means if price closes above this line, it will then open a buy. Now, why is this important? We're focusing in on one type of trade and one type of trade only. So you should be able to spot them forming way ahead of time, and this will help you to basically pull the trigger. Instead of sometimes what happens is I'll be waiting for a setup, it closes above my entry, and then before I can even hit buy, and this is what we're looking to happen, it will spike up 4 to 6 pips. Let's see. I did have a question, Mel. Could you not put in safety no trade, such as the candle closes more than X pips away after crossing? It does not place a trade. Actually, I had two ideas on that. I wanted to be able to put one in that it takes a trade if price is so many pips above. Like, let's say if it has to close 1 pip above the line, and then if it's more than, say, 5 pips away from the line, not to take the trade. I had it in there and I couldn't get it to work properly. If you want, I'll give you the source code. If you want to try it, your coding skills are way, way, way beyond mine. I had a friend of mine who codes. Me and him both worked on this because he trades exactly like I do, but he uses Itchy, and he uses this on Itchy. So that's why you see a lot of extra things in there. If you want, I'll toss you the source code for this if you want to take a look at it. I did have it in there, but I could not get it to work. The trades weren't popping. For some reason, I wasn't getting a journal error or anything. Just the trades weren't opening. But yeah, I had thought of that, and yesterday to be very honest, I said fuck it and gave up on it. I kept running. I was running a 1 minute chart, and I put it on there, but I wasn't getting any errors in the journal or anything. I no idea what was going on. Okay, so there are some other things in here. Again, this was designed for me and my friends, not just us. So the rectangle hedge needs to be set to false. He hedges. He's in Europe. So he does hedge some trades. This needs to be false. It will be false when you receive it, but it needs to be false. Trade mode 0. Everything you see is going to be given to you, but don't go crazy on it. It has ways for he puts lines in on touch to sell, so it can control your sells. I'm using an EA. I prefer just to have my take profit and stop loss out there. Since he's on a higher time frame, he actually draws lines to close trades. But that feature's in there. In the PDF, it will have a full description of what all these are in case you do wonder. But you're going to be focusing mainly on the buy cross and sell cross. You need to know how to use these, and that's what we're focusing on teaching you. To be honest, I couldn't have coded this by myself. I mean, my coding skills on a scale of 1 to 10 are probably a 6. And my friends are more like an 8, but he doesn't like doing things from scratch. He likes taking the code and then fixing it. So I make a rough draft, and then he fixes it up for me. He, unfortunately, with FXCM, he was pissed off last night and didn't want to hear it either because he has FXCM over in England. And he was like, fuck this, I'm done. He went drinking. And it was pretty late at night for him by then. Okay, so use pips profit is true. Pips profit's 10. Profits on first trade needs to be true. 10-10. He does multiple trades he basically stacks his trades. I'm not going to get into that, but this is designed so you can stack trades. Break even on is true. You can have a break even set. Break even after first candle is false, but right now it's set up for 2.5 pips. It has slippage in there so that if, let's say, price pushes through the line super fast for some reason, you forget there's news, and it hits the line, it goes to open a trade, and it slips more than 3 pips, it won't take it. It has statistics down at the bottom left corner. I have them set to true right now. You can put them wherever you want. The corner options here, text color is white, and the X and Y coordinates are here so you can adjust it. But again, what we're going to be focusing on is buy cross and sell cross. So let's go ahead and force a trade so you can take a look at it. Markets are piddling, going freaking flat, of course, because I want to show it. Let's move to the 1 minute and see if we can force a trade so you can see exactly what happens here. Okay, so we do have these both set up on closes. So all I have to do then is highlight the line. You'll see the little dots. And we'll move it here and here. And let's see if we can get a trade to pop. Remember, this is on close only, which works perfect with the system. And while we're waiting on that, Mel, let me open data folder. I'll get you a copy. I must be an idiot because I thought it would be simple to do, and I could not get it to do it. But there's some things with coding I understand easy, and some I just don't get. I know that sounds kind of odd, but I don't know. Some of it I just don't comprehend. But again, I haven't been. My degree was in computer science, but I was network security administrator, and then I ended. This is beyond some of you maybe, but I ended up specializing in VPNs, where I could get normal computers to communicate with things like CTs, MRIs, digital mammography, digital X-rays, and being able to transmit images safely across those to different hospitals. So my coding skills were lacking. I haven't actually coded since college. It's been a yeah, it's been a challenge for me to get back into coding. My daughter is actually learning coding in school, which was what kind of got me back into coding. Okay, so we had a close below, and we can see it already triggered. Everything still works the same. Alt C to close. Now this will not trigger again. It is coded so it doesn't trigger again. Now let's talk practical use on this. You can draw two lines, but let's look at the chart right now. So practical usage on this is we're lined up sell sell, and the Japan is stronger. So real quick, we could get it in here. Here is our support. We have a little one down here, so we highlight it. Horizontal. Well, it already closed. Crap. Let me zoom in. So practical usage, we could have had a setup right here, and it would have taken a trade right here as a sell, because everything's lined up. And again, all you have to do is right click, go to the line properties. Remember, the first letter is what type of trade. A T is for a touch, which it's in there by request, because when I showed someone this yesterday, they asked for it, and my friend does do touch trades. But we're going to be focusing on a close, sell, the dash is to separate, and then you put in the trade amount. It is as simple as that. I'm going to hit cancel because I won't want to do it, but that is how it works. I'll be handing it out by the end of the day with a new PDF. It's going to go a little bit more in depth off the questions that I've gotten. Again, I felt bad because, quite honestly, I had pushed everyone straight into Renko, and I believe it caused a lot of people to not, how would you say, be successful. And I do feel bad about that. I think I just pushed too much information on some of the beginners. Already I've seen much better results. I've had 4 people actually sending me trades that are doing very well with this. And I think the pending lines, for instance, will help a lot. And again, the reason we're using an EA is 1, to add take profit and stop loss, and 2 is a plain old pending order. Is this right here. It is activated as soon as price touches it, and we don't want that. There's a lot more that went into this than just what you see there, because you have to think that once it's breached, that it doesn't open on the next candle, things like that went into it. So hopefully it helps out. Again, it will be added in today, and if everything goes well, I will have a complete PDF out for this system today. It is 100% complete now. You'll have 2 install options for it: an exe file that just does it for you, or you can do the traditional install where you drag and drop all the indicators and everything on the chart into your data folder. Do we have any questions? Otherwise, let's take a look at some charts and see what the hell we got going on today. I will turn on signals, and we'll set up some trades if we see any. You can't see this screen. So far, I've showed my password 3 times, and I've had to change it 3 times. It's awesome. And okay, signals are live now. Alright, so let's zoom out one. Let's take a look at what we got going on today. You will see a few small adjustments on the chart. I tweaked it to how I like it, which I'm going to go over in the PDF. I don't like having the full colored lines in. I just like seeing the little squares. I am using this instead of a moving average. The moving average is ucky. It's called trend direction. Basically, it's the same thing as the moving averages, almost. It's going to be an either or. I am in a book going to give you an option of either or. I want you all to be able to create a system you feel comfortable with to use. Just like with trading axis, like when I was working with some people, we would add and remove indicators. I want you to be able to customize this to how you want to trade and what you feel comfortable with looking at. For me, I do like moving averages, but I find this visually more appealing to me. But if you like moving averages, you can use moving averages. Down on UJ. Now, if we're looking at UJ, we're starting to get the white with red, which means that it's turning into a sell on the trend. If we look, though, we are green, we want red, red, and we're gray. So if I wanted to set up a trade here, what could I do? Let's zoom in a little. And we're going to be looking for support and resist. So we have right here a support. Over here, a support. So if I wanted to set up a trade, and let's go ahead and set it up. If it pops, it pops. Right here, we're going to do horizontal line properties, and we'll set up a sell. C sell. I have to set up my signals to go to forex.com because I had already withdrawn last week. So right now these trades for me aren't going anywhere. I'm going to take a break here in a minute and set up. I have to go in and set up my live account on forex.com. I already deposited my money, verified everything. I just have to put the signal receiver in. And that is it. If price touches that, we now have a sell. Now, right here, we don't have it. So if it gets close and we are not aligned down on the bottom, I will just delete this. Now, I'm leaving, see how it's selected? I'm leaving that so I can hit delete and it's gone. So if I don't like how it's setting up, I hit the delete button and it's gone. Well, let's get it back there. And I am putting it right on that support line, the blue dots. Here, let's get rid of it so you can see where I'm drawing it. We zoom in. See these blue dots? They might be hard to see. I'm drawing it right there. Why? Now this isn't a perfect trade, but because if it starts to drop, here's our support zone. See these peaks and these valleys right here. Can't see it? Switch to here. We're drawing it right here in between these two. So if it closes below, we might get a run out of it. So let's get that set up. Right there. I'm doing it slightly below so I can still see the dots. Right click, line properties, close, sell -0.01. Hopefully this won't screw with signals. And I'm leaving it selected. You can see it's selected because why? The little squares are there. Why is it selected? So that if price does drop to it and I don't for any reason like the way this trade looks, I hit the delete button on my keyboard and it is gone. Now, if the market moves up, what can we do? Well, let's set that up too. Boop, boop, boop. So I have red dots, red dots. We have verified resist, verified resist. Remember, look. If we look to the left out, what do we got? That is ugly. That, well, it's a potential 7.3 pip move up. But it's not that pretty because we do have it there. But let's go ahead and set it up. I know now that it's 7.3, but you can either right click or double click this to bring the screen up. We'll do C buy dash. Now we have price straddled and we have it at two good support and resists. So what do you have to do? Watch the chart. If you don't like the way price moves into these, hit the delete button. Both orders are gone. If you don't want both orders gone, just then delete. But I am set up right now for both orders to be gone if I hit the delete button on my keyboard. Do we have questions as of yet? No questions? Does anyone have charts, trades, anything they would like to share? I did not place it right here. If we look, that only gives us about a 4.5 pip drop that's possible if it closes below here. Now, just by looking here, if we look to the left, so I'll draw a ray. Yes, the EA does work on trend lines also. So if we look at the close, if it closed below that, we're already into this support zone. That's why I didn't place it there. I dropped it below that. And I deleted my shit. Control Z undoes. Now I have to unselect, delete, and select. So again, Control Z, if you, let's say, oops, I deleted it. Control Z undoes it. And this is some boring shit. We got 3 minutes to the bell. I'm not too concerned because I'm running pending. Shit, do I have a trade? Oh, I forgot. This trade did trigger. This is one that I just left on there. We're green, green, and gray. This should not have been. It should have been up here. Let's delete the line. We'll just close this. I'm not running anything lovely today, so it doesn't matter. I hope that didn't trigger. Did that trigger a trade for anyone? Fuck. I should have closed that. I'm sorry if it did. I closed it really quick. I'm sorry if that triggered a trade for anyone. Fuck. Sorry about that. Oof. I feel bad there. Okay. So we'll go ahead and watch. It's 8:28. I'm going to go ahead and, just in case, I'm going to delete because I don't want anything stupid. We'll go back and draw after we're ready to trade. Again, guys, I am sorry about that trade. I'm pretty sure it just went out. That was a complete screw up. I closed it just because I can. I think it was a negative 2.9 or something. I'm closing up Windows. I got so much crap running. If we have questions, feel free to ask, guys. We don't really have too much going on right now. 1 minute to the bell. We'll see how markets go. Again, you will have two options: moving averages or the little trend direction indicator I'm using. It's based kind of off Heineken Ash, whatever, that with a moving average built into it, so to make it kind of look exact, not exactly, but to make it look like similar to the moving averages. And I am sorry about that trade. I forgot I had that. I should have deleted that line before I turned signals on. So here was our first support. And this is the one I said no because it immediately goes into another support zone. This is what we're looking at down here. And by then, hopefully, we would be lined up. This is time in the bell, so I give it about 15 minutes for if there's a change of sentiment. God, I feel really bad. Yeah, I'm so sorry. God, I can't even type. Watch it go up now, and I'll be pissed. I didn't want to hold it, though, and it go to a full, 10 pip stop loss. That was my bad. Does anyone have questions on the EA? Is it pretty much self-explanatory? I mean, if you're following along, learning how to trade, it's just basically going to pull the trigger for you. It also kind of force you into looking at these zones, because if you want to use it, you have to look for the zones. Remember, the enemy is a range. So what we see here is the enemy. That is a range. We want to trend. We don't want to trade on this crap. And yes, it takes a little bit for the range to develop and for you to notice it. Yeah, at least I know the two A's work together now. I feel bad. About the only other thing I can think is I want to adjust the colors a little bit on the boxes here for the support and resist because I can't see the wicks on candles. So I want to change it. Actually, if I go to properties, chart on foreground, and hit OK, that fixes it a little bit. I can see the wick, but I don't like it as much. I want chart on foreground, fix it. Remember, you'll have two install options. The lazy man's way, which is kick-ass, just hit an exe file, find your MT4, it will install for you. Or the traditional way of dragging, dropping indicators into the indicators folder, the blah, 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 etc., etc. It's 8:32 now. I am really wanting some coffee, and I'm not going to be taking any trades for about 10-15 minutes. So what I'll do is mute. Please, if you have questions, charts, anything, binary, forex, news trades, let me know. Robin, if you're here, I'll look at your news trades because Mel beat the shit out of you on NFP, and I wanted to see. NFP for me, just to review, was dead. I used such a big straddle on FXCM that I didn't even pop any trades. Forex.com did pop. I don't remember what straddle I was running though. But for me, it was kind of a shit dud. Just to review though, that NFP was very weak, so be careful this month with news trading. NFP is kind of our leading indicator for the month for news trades. If you look at statistic-wise, on weak NFPs, the rest of the news reports function pretty weak. The one wild card we have in that is you-know-who, Mr. Trump, President Trump, whatever. God knows what he's going to be doing this month, so he might affect news a little bit. So it is good to kind of keep an eye out for U.S. news with Trump in it. Brexit's been relatively quiet. Any of you European guys heard anything on Brexit? The nationwide news, Trump's just dominated world news in the world news in the United States. It's just been Trump, 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 and protest, protest, protest. So I haven't seen very much international news. But I babbled. I'm gonna go get some coffee, and I'll be back. And by then we should be ready to go. We'll set up some trappies. Yes, I'm watching this one before I go. My concern is this is a pretty good support here and here. I'm going to draw a line, but not as a trade, so don't stress. This is the first dip down off a trend up. GG, this might look familiar. What I'm looking at is here, and here is a support zone. And it's kind of a weak move. This is the first move down. On these, what I would prefer to see then is a close down and a drop. But then what I would prefer to see is, let's say we do get the close down, so price then moves down. What I would prefer to see to get into this to be safe, that would have maybe triggered a trade right there, is for it to drop down, retrace up, and then we can get into the trade safer. Because right now I don't know if this is a big pullback off this move, or if it is a trend change. We're at the U.S. bell, so it could possibly be. But if you're not sure, then wait for a retrace and then get into it down. In this case, this is what I'm saying. Is I would wait on it. Actually, no, this wouldn't have triggered. So let's wait on a retrace on this one and be safe. So if you're manually trading this today, wait on that retrace, because we don't know quite yet. We do have a decent size support. Well, a resist became a support, and a support became a support. God, I'm an idiot. But here, I'll draw it as a ray also. And again, the EA does work on trend lines the exact same way. My trend lines look funny because I have it turned off to draw. I like being able to just draw it. So if price closes below there, that would be our first possible entry, which I'm not going to take. I want to bounce. I want to close below, retrace, and then do it. So just in case this is a big pullback, like let's say it's just hitting this and then it's going to spike upwards. We don't know. USD's been taking a beating. It's USD and the GBP have been the two weakest currencies for the past week. That's compared to others in strength. That's why, again, if it moves up, that means USD is stronger than the yen, which we saw here, but we're just now kicking into the full market. This was pre-trading, basically. We're now into the full U.S. markets open, stocks, bonds, everything's up for grabs. Okay, I babbled enough. I need coffee. If we have questions, please let me know. Again, I am sorry that freaking trade popped. That was completely 100% my fuck up. And I'll be back in a few minutes. Alrighty, I'm back. Sorry about that. I lost 5 pounds. I feel much better. Let's see, we had questions. Alright, so let's review a bit more. We are what? Orangey, green, and gray. We have a potential setup here, so let's go ahead and highlight it first, and then what's our next step after we do this? So let's just put it on the upper dots slightly. I'm not going to set this up as a trade because we aren't aligned down here yet. What's the next step we do? So we draw our line because we've identified a potential trade. Next thing I suggest you do is zoom out, because we already know this potential trade could get stopped right here. We zoom out again. Here's our white line. Let's look. There's a support, so we definitely want to close above it, but we have a bunch of trash out here to the left. Yes, I know this is getting a little ridiculous on looking out that far, but it's good to know what's out there. If it breaches above here, we have a much better trade, but that's way up there, so we just need to be aware of the fact that if we got into this trade, it is kind of risky because we can see it's hit that level, bounced, hit that level, bounced, so we definitely want to cling breakthrough above it. Or we might get what we saw here. It hit it and bounced up. And over here, this one I'm not even looking at, it's just kind of consolidated. We are still relatively flat. If we see, what's the first thing we want to identify? Are we in a trend? Not so much. It's bouncing in and out of our little funky moving average colors. Candle size. It has been moved over here. I couldn't stand it over there. I wasn't able to see it. We're running at about 3 pip candle sizes, which is good. So we're at 3.0, 3.8, so about 3.5 average pip candle size. We can see here is a support zone. Here's a support zone. It is reacting to it. We're going to look for it to push through. Now I'm watching it. I'll go ahead and set it up, but I'm going to have the delete button ready. So first thing we do C buy. I still haven't set up my live account. I'm going to do that while this is sitting and I'm watching. I need to add the signal receiver in on my account. Okay, while this is sitting, I'm going to set that up real quick. I already downloaded it. I just need to put my username and password in. That way if I take a trade, I can get it too. Alright. Good lord. But if you can see GG blah, this one does look familiar to your trade. It's not the exact same, but here's our support zone. It bounced and then it popped up. There was a lot of support right here and it bounced. So that's why I say use the lines, watch what's to your left, and just take your time. You're going to get plenty of setups. Right now, we are definitely in a range, so even if this trade does pop, I wouldn't be looking for it to move very much. We're gray down here. Euro and Japanese, the yen, are braiding gray. USD is barely on top right now. And it is struggling to get through this little support. If I don't like what I see, I hit delete, and that trade disappears. Which right now I'm not liking what I see, because it looks like this range is holding. Now, if you're trading this on bins, you could look. This is pretty freaking easy, because you have a massive amount of resist here, and support down here. Could have taken a sell there. This would have been shit, because it's not really telling you info, but this is a pretty obvious trade. This one being obvious also if you look to the left. Support, support, blah, and I'm not even using pivots or anything on this. any questions? Kind of boring. Euro, like I said, Euro is confirming that we're in a range, basically. So like I said, if any trade does pop, it would be a quick in and out because we don't have a trend. Basically, we don't have the momentum to push this buy upwards very fast, and we know that right up here we have another resist. So basically what we're looking at is we know we have another resist right up in this area. You can see I'm keeping the little square on there so that if it does pop up and these aren't aligned, I can just delete it and we won't get a trade. The most concerning thing I would say is down here it's gray. And the other thing is that Euro is mimicking. So hopefully we'll see some movement here after 9 o'clock. We've got 5 minutes till then, till the top of the hour. Yeah, if you're in binary, you could see this. We can see that this support's holding, so if it was overbought, oversold, this would have been an opportunity to sell. And it would have been, what? It dropped about 3.4 pips, so all you had to do is wait to the end of the candle and do a sell. On the binary side, Markets World, I played with it a little bit. Their new expiries aren't too bad. They have the traditional expiries they used to have, and now they have the if you take a trade at 8:57, it closes 5 minutes later. You don't have to wait till the end of the candle to get into a trade. Previously, with Markets World, if you got into a trade at 8:57, the trade would be open 8 minutes because your 5-minute countdown wouldn't start until that candle closes. They have changed their the way. They haven't changed the way. They have two options now. You can either take the traditional the one that they had, or take the traditional binary options ones that, as soon as you hit sell, it starts your 5-minute countdown. Yeah, I'm not even really watching Euro. Euro and UJ are both kind of flat right now. But so far, boring. Sorry, I'm reading an article about ISIS. They're giving doctor's notes to get out of fighting. A Belgian militant got out of fighting by offering a doctor's note saying he had back pain. They found when they're, what's the city? I can't say it, Mosul or whatever. They're going through the documents that they found, and they're finding doctor's notes. Okay, so we're green, still gray. It might pop out. Shaping up a little bit. Again, this is going to be a quick in and out. I'm going to be watching the shit out of it if we get into it. It's worrying me because we're in a range and it's not going to have much pushy push up. If it does, I'll be surprised. We'll see, though. Again, I'm watching it because if it shows signs of just dying out right there, I will just delete it out. So we can see it hit, not the line, but it's hitting that zone, and it's stalled. So let's see what happens with it. Again, everything is lined up on the bottom now. But look, we went back to gray. Again, this is what worries me because we don't have a strong upward trend on this. We're just looking to break out of a range. But y'all can see why, and remember, since we have time, look at our white line where it is. What I'm hoping, counting on, is it'll have room to run up to about there. Which, let's see. Man, it's getting rejected. Goodbye. We'll zoom in on it a bit. Shit, I deleted my white line. Control Z. There we go. Let's check in on EU. See, EU is still flat, so we have no momentum on either side. We'd want to see, since this is heading up, we want to see EU heading down. And we're having red, we're braiding. If the BB turns red, that would give me a little better sense of this trade. Remember, we want them to move inverse of each other, not move together, but right now they're both just consolidating. Screw the flipping, let's do this. Yes, I'm making little noises, sorry. There was our EU fuck up. Alrighty, so we can see we'd want this to move down. I'll draw a ray because I don't want to put anything on here. La la la. I wish they'd make it easier to draw things like that, but oh no. Basically, I'm just watching down and we went up. So we want this to drop, this to go up, and then I'd be a lot happier. Right now, I'm not super happy with this one. And as you can see, as we're zoomed in, we are in a range right here. You should be able to spot that now. God, I almost want to turn on music. So we did get the down on euro. We're up, but we're gray, so it's still not looking spectacular. Let's check it. Okay, let's watch. I'm going to go ahead with it. It did pop. Remember, we have a little bit of room up to here, not a lot. I'm going to look at about... I'm really not liking the way that looks. Let's see. Pop up a little more for me. Make sure I'm on the chart. And almost. I should have drawn the support or the resist. Kind of eyeballing it. This is a break of a range. I'm not expecting much out of it. I'm waiting. If it is going to move, I'm expecting a quick move up. I already have my hand on the key to close. Oh, yeah. It was a barely close over. That's why the 1 pip above would be nice. And we're dropping. Zoom in a little more so y'all can see what's going on. There we go. That's about as big as I can make it, I think. Yeah, it is. Got 3 minutes left on this one. You can see it's hitting something right slightly above, slightly below my target. I'm gonna have to zoom out one so I can see. Well, I got it down here, I forgot. And about 2:30, we'll see where it goes. If you kind of notice with candles, watch around the tooth, right around this mark. You kind of see where it's gonna go. So hopefully it shoots up here, and we'll get our target. I'm interested to see what happens at 3.5 pips. So if it would shoot up to 3.5, that would be wonderful. It's really getting pushed. Ah, pooey on you. See, we have a candle close over there with a huge wick on it. That's why I'm thinking we have room to run up. But remember, we're in a verified retest here. It's only one, though, and we've already identified that. It's way, way over to the left. $3.5. Come on. We're at 2 now. It looks like this, it's holding, but we'll see. Ooh. Sorry, didn't mean to yawn. And so far, Bears are winning. Minute left on this one. Let's see if they'll push it. Remember, it's the first breakout. We're looking for a weak push up. It may dive back down. I will try and get out of it. If it does, right now we're at dead break even. Small loss now. I was expecting a quick push, which I didn't get, of like 4 pips. And bears are pushing down, or the sells. And about 25 seconds left on it. If I had to guess, I think it's going to tank. I'm going to give it a 5 pip loss, and that's it. Because that was not... Price action-wise, that's ugly. The sells just beat the shit out of it. It never hit my goal. I was only shooting for 4 pips, and it never hit it. So let's see if it pushes, which would be wonderful. Remember, this was supposed to be a week in and out. That's what I'm hoping for. Now, if we were on a trend, I'd be shooting for more, but all I want is 3.5. Yeah, we're stuck below 1. $3.5 is slightly above the wick on the previous candle. You little son of a bitch. And we're back to break even. La la la. My sister with all her bullshit links. Nah, I'm not liking this too much. We'll see how it goes, though. Remember, it is hitting support now. See that? Look to the left, it's hitting those 2 lines. So we're hoping that it'll hit that and bounce up. That's why I said at about 5 pips. Hopefully it won't drop below that. And 2 minutes left on it. I was hoping to see a little upward, but still no upward on it. -4, -4.4. Sells have pretty much taken this one over so far. This candle, they've been in control almost the whole time. That was the first sign of bulls being even in the market. Buys, whatever you want to call it. If we get a doji out of this, it'd be pissy. We're borderline on this bitch closing. If it closes below my support, I'm out. One minute left on it. What I'm hoping is this is just a little pullback before it moves up, but I'm not liking the price action so far. Hopefully this turns into a trend, because even if we take a small loss here, if this turns into a trend upwards, then we can get back in and take a bigger trade. closed right on it, not above or below, so that wasn't a good sign. And make up your mind. I need a 4-pip move up, which right now our average candle is 3.3, so one candle could get us close, but we need a green, and that's not looking sexy. Don't be a whore. Come on, no. I'll bounce back and I'll close you. It's hitting this support I was talking. See the candles to the left? What sucks is that second wave is lower, almost at the stop. Wish it was a little higher, but we'll see. Come on, 2 minutes. Okay, we're about out. There's our 230 mark. I'm not seeing any sign of it holding. It's sitting right on the, if you look, it's sitting right on the support. Look to the left, there's the big one in there. Come on, don't go down that far. It's about to hit. You little bastard. Alright, so we'll just waiting for a trend and then we'll make that back up. That was crapola. I guess I should have jumped out at 3 instead of 3.5 being a target, but I really thought we had more room on it. Let's take a look. Same. Alright, so actually it did hit right where I wanted it and it dropped, so 3.5 was a little bit too much. I should have gone 3. Alright, so we're gonna wait for it to break above that now, and then we can jump back in. Hopefully this goes into a trend. We can make that up pretty easy. Actually, let me zoom out real quick and take a look. Yeah, the next one has room to run up, so we're good there. Alright, so let's watch and see. What's Euro doing? What I don't like is UJ's moving up, and now Euro looks like it wants to move up, so we'll see. Again, like I said, that one was kind of a risky, but I should have got out at 3 instead of 3.5. My target was too big. Don't worry, we can make that one up pretty easy though. As long as we get into a trend, it's lovely. If not, I can trade Asia. So let's do this. No, we'll get rid of that one. Look, excuse me. How long have we been? 1:42, an hour 42. Let's remove that. And so far flat. Not expecting too much yet. Euro, same thing. At least Euro's moving up and UJ's moving down slightly. I'm going to mute for a little bit so I can turn on music. If something happens, I'll unmute. Actually, I was muted because there was nothing to talk about. I'm getting ready to go get some food real quick anyway. Here, so you can see what I drew it on the screen earlier, but I threw an indicator on here so you can see what I'm talking about. Downwards move on this. It never broke above here to clear, so it'd probably drop. I'm gonna get tacos. I am starving. I skipped breakfast because my daughter has a freaking thing tonight at school. Whatever, they sing and dance shit. So I was in a rush to get her out the door. But as you can see, a little bit of head and shoulders there. If I had to guess, since it's not clearing this right here and closing above it, we'll probably see a downward move. I'll be back after that, see if we can pick up some trades. Right now it's still holding in a range. And UJ looks like turd soup, still ranging. Alright, I'll be back. Enjoy.